Hello, sports fans. Larry Allen here at KGAS, along with Scott Surratt, the head football coach and athletic director at Carthage High School. Well, the Bulldogs are in the second round of the playoffs for the 12th year in a row, and they're going to face the Huffman Hargrave Falcons this Friday night down at Lufkin. But let's go back to last Friday night at Eagle Stadium in Lindale against Life Waxahachie. The Bulldogs won that one 49-24. Scott?
We did. The first snap, we got them up. Defense did a very good job getting them 3 and out, and then our first snap, everybody, it looks like it was straight on the quarterback, and most of it was, but the snap was not very good, and that's the reason it was on the ground. And then when you get into that deal, you just got, as experienced as he is, he's just got, he'd throw the ball away or get down to his checkdowns, and his checkdowns actually wasn't there because they saw the ball rolling around, so they ran to the checkdowns, and so the only option probably was to throw it away. But we can live with 2nd and 10, and not a disaster. But other than that, we didn't show them a lot of tape, honestly, of Life Waxahachie, just because we showed them early to show them what they were going to do, and then they could kind of tell them that they could tell also they're smart, that we were kind of the superior team. And I don't want to say that arrogantly, but that was what it was. And I did tell them that it happens. It does happen like that for some reason. It's kind of like Alabama Citadel this week. It was 10-10 at half, and then all of a sudden they flipped it on, and I'm sure that Coach Saban gave them a pretty good chewing or whatever. But anyway, it was 43-10 after the third quarter, so 33-0 in the third quarter. So it's just they're kids, and we've got to keep them focused in that. But it's a lesson that we need to play good football from here on out, and to have a chance to do something special.
I saw one of your quotes concerning that spurt that we had at the end of the half and the beginning of the second half about it, sort of being comparable to a basketball team, where a basketball team goes on a 17-2 run in a span of 38 seconds. We were ahead 21-14, and 38 seconds of playing time later, it was 42-14, 3 touchdowns. Yeah,
you get one of those special runs in a game, and I'm not talking about a 14-point run, but you get one of those 20 or 28-point runs, and it's tough to overcome, for the other team. So, and I did compare it to a basketball. If you get a huge run in basketball, it's hard to overcome. Now they're 8 or 10-point run, but you get that 18 to 25-point run, that's hard to overcome. In basketball, same kind of analogy to try to do with football, but. I thought we played very well at spots. Obviously we had some deals, in the secondary that went on, and our eyes were bad. They were looking in the backfield because of all that triple option, and you fake to the fullback, you got motion coming around, and then a guy sneaking up on you. And every time we got beat but once, I think our eyes were just not very good. So it means we wasn't very disciplined in the secondary when we did it. So. That's a few things we worked on this week, and I think you'll see that get better.
All right, we did not have Chalk Talk this week, and I hate to put you on the spot, but I think you're going to know the answer to this. Could you tell us who the 3 MVPs were for the game?
That's a good question. I know that Kel Williams was the offensive MVP, and then Luis Piedra was the special teams MVP. I thought he kicked it very well. I want to say Desmond Hicks was the defensive MVP.
All right. Very good. Well, let's talk about one of those 3. Kel Williams with 3 touchdown receptions ties a school record for touchdown receptions in a game. Dee Bowens did it 3 times. JaKeldrick Jackson, T. Goree did it twice. O'Carrion Rutherford, Jalen Claiborne, Kel Williams, and some mighty fine company there.
Well, that is good company there. I didn't realize that, but he had a phenomenal game for us, and we needed him. He stepped up when we were struggling a little bit, and he had the first big touchdown, the second big touchdown, and the third big touchdown. He had 3 in the first half, and so he's really come on. We knew he was going to because we kept seeing it in practice, and it just needed some game experience, and he's got it. And that's what we tell him anymore. There's no excuses if you're a sophomore, or because he and Moochie or Kelvonte is basically sophomores. Kel played one play last year and broke his ankle, and then Moochie played a game and a half and played his. So they're like sophomores, but there's no excuses anymore. We played 11 games, and you're not like a sophomore anymore, or a junior, or inexperienced senior, whatever you are. Well, you played enough Friday night snaps, or most of them have. It's to play good football.
I want to talk about the sky kick. Scott, we've seen several folks receive the sky kick this week or this year, fairly close to the sideline, and they try to go all the way across the field to get to the other sideline. Well, Baylor Collie proved that if you just go straight ahead, sometimes good things happen, don't they?
Well, I forgot to mention that. That was a key play in the game. And matter of fact, he was co-special teams player of the week. Baylor was. I forgot about that. But anyway, he took that thing, and you see how talented he's, very athletic. He cut it back twice, but that's what we want to do. Is we want to get north and south. And you saw, I think, they kicked it to their sideline one time, and Corey Ware tried to bring it to our sideline and didn't get anything. That's not what we want. We want to get that thing and if we get 5 to 6 yards out of a sky kick, then we're going to have it around the 35, 40-yard line. And that's really we were sky kicking on. And this is as brutally honest as I can be. They've been fair catching every one of them. Mm-hmm. And so we said, well, we'll just save the pads and make sure nobody gets hurt on the kickoff this week. Well, they didn't. Then they didn't fair catch the first one, and they ran it back a little bit. Now we didn't tell the kids that, but but then he should have. Then he dropped one, and maybe another one, and then he got it on. But anyway, but I was excited for the most part how we played, because we give up 14 points, but 14 of them pretty much was on. All the offense. We gave them a short field. One of them was my fault. We went for it on the 20-something yard line, and then they scored. And then the other one was, after the first interception there. So to play that kind of offense and hold them down like that. And then the very last score was, against a lot of inexperienced guys, and we know that's going to happen right now because they're not ready for Friday night football. But that's the reason they're in there playing. It's the best thing for them to get them experience on Friday night where they can be ready when it's their time.
All right, let's talk about Gunnar Capps. Now, he did have that interception, and almost another pass was intercepted. In fact, the second one he threw. But he had 5 touchdown passes, and Scott, he is now within 2 TD passes of second place on the all-time Carthage career record. Career touchdown passes, 84 for Anthony Morgan. Gunnar Capps has 82. Quite a career for Gunnar so far.
Well, you're throwing a lot of stats out there that we don't keep up with. We'll look at them after the season, but that is quite an accomplishment. I think he's. I told you the 2 things we look at. He's on 33 touchdowns and 4 interceptions, so that's pretty special so far. And then his completion ratio we looked at. I think it's around 63%. So that's really good. Especially we don't throw a lot of screens. A lot of these guys these quarterbacks, they're 65 to 68%. Well, they're throwing it sideways or, throwing, 15 screens a game. Mm-hmm. And, that's just not who we are. Hopefully we'll get to a little bit more of that when Moochie gets a little bit more healthy, that we can throw it sideways to him again and, throw 4 or 5 of those a game. But he's had a very special year so far, and, we got to finish this thing up. We had meetings in this week. Quarterback meeting, let's go finish this thing up. You only got 5 possible games. Let's play as long as we can and play the best we can.
And the one thing about the playoffs, Scott, and that is that it's sudden death. I was talking to one of the guys that's been injured, and I asked him at practice one day. I said, "Are you ready to get back out there?" And he said, "Yes, especially in the playoffs because it could be your last game."
Yeah, it's winter. The last thing we said was today was winter, go home, and so that's exactly what it means. We either win and advance, or we get beat and we put all our stuff up and we go to the next sports. But we would like to play as long as we can and do something special. But we sure got a long way to go. But to do something special, but we got a long time to get there when you're talking about 5 weeks.
All right, let's talk about Huffman Hargrave. You beat them in the bi-district round last year convincingly, so you're playing the Falcons again. Tell us what you've seen from film.
Well, I think they're better. I think they're quite a bit better. They only give up 21 points a game defensively, so I know they're a lot better defensively because I think they give up 30 a game last year when we played them. And offensively, they average around 27, 28, and so they've executed well. The quarterback's big and can throw it, and their offensive line's big. They have a couple of tall receivers that could give us problems. And then defensively, they have a defensive end's really good, number 43, and they'll show you some different looks. They'll play you man. They're not scared to play man, and then they'll get in some zone. And so we've got to recognize when it's man or zone and get the ball right where it's supposed to be. But more importantly, we don't run it. We didn't run it bad the other night. You look at tape, we felt like we had so many advantages in the secondary that we didn't run it that much. And then also, if you're throwing the ball, it's not as a physical game as you want it to be. Or intentionally, we didn't want it to be so physical because you want to be able to play those physical games when it's really needed. And the other night, obviously, it wasn't needed that much. So.
All right, tell us where the officials will be coming from.
The officials are coming out of Austin. We should be getting an email any day or any time on who exactly it's going to be, but they're coming out of Austin.
How do you and the other coach decide on that?
Well, he usually scratches are the ones that we've used, our chapters. We're East Texas and Tyler, and then we scratch their chapter. I believe they were Houston and Stephen F. Austin. So then we've got to go out, outside those chapters, and we agreed on Austin. And so that's how.
And then who decides who comes from Austin?
Well, we trust the secretary to send us somebody that we agreed to send a chapter that neither one of us has used in the last 3 years. And they'll have all that on file, and then we tell the secretary, the assigning secretary, that we want the highest rated officials that we hadn't had, either one of us had in the last 3 years. So I'm not sure I don't think we've had Austin in the last, we may have had them 3 years ago, but I know we hadn't had them in the last 2 years. But we just want the best crew and see what happens.
All right, now it's early in the week. We're taping this on Monday, so you may not know very much, or you might. Tell us about next week.
Well, we're on the list for Tyler, and this is all I know. And he has chosen Midlothian Heritage is on the list for the Star.
Okay.
So I have not spoke with Navasota. He has not called, or I hadn't called him, so I don't know exactly. But I don't think. It's hard to get a 4-team lot because Huffman Hargrave, if they beat us, is not going to come to Tyler and play Navasota. And and they're not going. Huffman Hargrave's not going to drive to Frisco to play Midlothian Heritage. So it's kind of hard to get a lot right now, but we're on the list of those, and then we'll flip like we did this week. We'll also flip. We're visitors, so we'll flip. Do the phone book flip and see what happens. It could be Tyler. It could be, honestly, it'd be hard to be in Tyler because what they'll do is take the first 4-team lock. And I'd be amazed if they didn't have one by the end of the day with all these Texas teams playing and stuff.
End of today being Monday?
Yes. I would imagine Tyler, he told me we got to take the 4-team lock. And same thing we do with our stadium. We got to have the first 4-team verbals, because if not, then you lose games out of your stadium, and that's not what you want to do. So we'll be fishing for a stadium maybe after the game, but there'll be plenty after this week that we can find. Maybe not centrally located, because there's not too many stadiums centrally located between us and Midlothian Heritage. Now Navasota, if they win, it would Dallas area or even Houston. All that is kind of the same distance from Navasota to Dallas, is same, or like Texan Drive Stadium, so something like that.
All right, now Midlothian Heritage, of course, will be favored in that ball game. So if it comes down to them, and you say Tyler, and they say the Star in Frisco, then it's a flip. Is that right? Assuming that you can get one of those stadiums.
Right. They'll pick a stadium. We'll pick a stadium, and then we'll flip it. And whoever wins the flip, we play in that stadium.
So with flips like that, it could come down to not being able to play on Friday, and I know you love Fridays, don't you?
Now, we've agreed on Friday.
Oh, you have?
We
Okay.
have agreed on Friday, us and Midlothian Heritage. Now, like I said, I hadn't talked to Navasota, so I'm not. He may want to play, the earliest they could play us on Thursday, and the latest they could play us on Saturday. So, sometimes, like this Thursday, we couldn't force anybody to play. If you played on Saturday, you can't force people to play on Thursday. Mm-hmm. So,
okay.
And that's what it gets to. Used to, you could do that. Like 6A, they would play on Saturday, and then they said team got a bunch of kid limping around, stud player, and then all of a sudden they want to play them quick as they can. And you can flip them Thursday, and then the other team would pick Saturday because they wanted more rest.
Uh-huh.
But you can't do that anymore. You can do it. It's got to be at least 6 days before you play another game.
All right. Well, tell us about the attitude of the team, what you're seeing in practice.
Well, this is Monday, and the energy was really, really high. It was at a playoff level today. I thought we popped around, and this started. We met first in our team meeting room. We talked about the importance of it, and you don't. It's like I told the seniors, and I said you only have four more possible practices on Monday after today. So it's really getting to the funnest time of your life, but the saddest time of your life. At the same point, because it's coming to an end, and with everybody, so it's just a game. Well, it is just a game, but it is. It's what some kids are just driven by, and I was myself, and a lot of fans. So it's not just a game. We're in Carthage, and we wanted to create something like this. We wanted to create this monster that we have, and because it's what everybody looks forward to on Friday night, and we call it a Friday night party. Or this last was Thursday night party, where they're all everybody, Carthage come and have fun, and hopefully it's fun. When you win, it's fun, and that's bottom line. That's the world we live in. It's not too much fun getting beat, and whether you're playing little Madden football or real football or marbles, whatever. You got to compete to win, and that's where our program is, and hopefully we can continue to have some success through the playoffs.
Speaking of where the program is, 37 wins in a row now, and here's one that I like too: 13 wins in a row in the playoffs. That's pretty impressive right there. That's as big time as you get right there.
Well, it's a tribute to it takes a team, a whole team to do that, not just from your administration, your superintendent, and principals, just everybody. Your players, your coaches, number one, your players, coaches' wives. Everybody's got to be bought in on this thing to make runs like this. And we've got a special place. Your fans, they show up, and to win that many games in a row, a lot of it's fans too. The kids see the support and how loud they are on third or fourth, especially fourth down when the other team has it. And we've come down. Obviously, a lot of those games have been close, or several of them have been close, and we've come out on the better end, obviously, and hopefully we can continue because I know the support's there.
All right, those are the words of head coach Scott Surratt. Remember, it'll be Friday night, 7 p.m. at Lufkin. That's the kickoff. And if you can't be there in person, we'll have it for you on KGS about 6:30 with a look at the starting lineup. For Coach Surratt, I'm Larry Allen. Have a happy Thanksgiving, everyone.